I'm Donna.
And I'm Bruce, and this is Lyrical Wisdom.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Lyrical Wisdom, where we dive into song lyrics and offer heart-based wisdom through our interpretations. If you enjoy what you're hearing, don't forget you can catch every episode of Lyrical Wisdom on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and more.
You can also find us on YouTube. Just search Lyrical Wisdom Show. Do you have a song you'd like to hear us shed some light on? You can email us requests, questions, comments to lyricalwisdomshow@gmail.com. That's lyricalwisdomshow@gmail.com. Or leave a comment on a YouTube video. We'd really love to hear from you. And all requests get an episode and a shout out.
So join us every Tuesday and Friday as we dig deep and deliver our wisdom. And thank you for sharing, liking, and subscribing to Lyrical Wisdom. Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning, Donna.
So, what kind of day are you having?
I am having just another day in paradise.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And I hope each and every one of you are
Me
enjoying
too.
a
Yeah.
day in paradise.
Yeah.
When you think about that, it just brings my heart joy and it makes me giggle.
I love that.
Because that's what paradise is.
It is.
It's just being able to let go of everything and just be.
Yeah.
You know, I envision a waterfall and beautiful flowers, tropical flowers, the birds,
Yes.
It's like, yeah, I like that. I like being in paradise.
I do too. And I kind of think of it as somewhere that we think of as fantasy. However, I'm sure that when I finally get there, I probably won't really know what the heck I'm experiencing because this will be completely different probably. Who knows? You know what I mean? Who knows?
Yeah. For me, I think I call my bedroom when I open my eyes my paradise.
Oh, cool. Yeah, yeah.
Because it's what you create.
It is.
So
It is every day.
where is you create your own reality. So
Yeah.
where is your paradise? It's like I was looking out, where I live, just sitting in my chair, looking at my little lake and all, and the blue heron was sitting at the edge of the lake, and then I was like, oh, hello, and then a white one flew across.
Wow.
And I just, in that moment, Bruce, I was like, wow, I love my little paradise.
No, of course. Of course. And I love mine.
Yeah.
It's just kind of funny because I think that when we think of paradise, we definitely have an association with somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. It becomes somewhere that's intangible. And so I
Bring it
love
to
that.
you.
Yeah.
Live
yeah.
within it.
Yes, every day,
Yeah.
every
Create
breath.
your own paradise.
Well, we have something that
and there's a way
is-
to do that by staying young.
by staying young
Be childlike.
and live in the fountain of youth. I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
And I actually think that if we could stay forever young,
Yeah.
then we could maybe understand what paradise really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a wonderful way to segue into this song.
Yeah. Because you get to create it in every moment.
Yes,
Yes. Just like a child.
just like a child.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that's right, folks. Today we have a song for you, Forever Young,
Yes.
by Alphaville. Let's dance in style. Let's dance for a while. Heaven can wait. We're only watching the skies, hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. Are you going to drop the bomb or not? Let us die young, or let us live forever. We don't have the power, but we never say never. Sitting in a sand pit, life is a short trip. The music's for the sad men. Can you imagine when this race is won? Turn our golden faces into the sun. Praising our leaders, we're getting in tune. The music's played by the madmen. Forever young, I want to be forever young. Do you really want to live forever? Forever and ever? Forever young. Some are like water, some are like the heat. Some are a melody, and some are the beat. Sooner or later, they all will be gone. Why don't they stay young? Is so hard to get old without a cause. I don't want to perish like a fading horse. Use like diamonds in the sun, and diamonds are forever. So many adventures couldn't happen today. So many songs we forgot to play. So many dreams swinging out of the blue. We'll let them come true. Forever young. I want to be forever young. Do you really want to live forever? Forever and ever? Forever young.
That was beautiful. And I think I've heard this song before now that I think about it. I think it suddenly reminded me of a time when I was listening to this song. But wow, what a beautiful song.
It is quite fascinating, and I do believe that this song was written during, I remember like experiencing having to do drills for bombs and stuff like that
Yes,
growing up.
yes, yeah.
And I think this was like written actually during what's called the Cold War.
Yes,
And
yes.
that's why it's, are you going to drop the bomb or not?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
so living in that place of fear,
Hmm.
I think, is what is being addressed in
Yes.
this song.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it, is that fear in its frequency is the opposite of love.
Wow.
So I love the fact that we can look at that today with beginning with, let's dance in style. Let's dance for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Heaven can wait. We're only watching the skies.
Well, I love that because actually, I believe you hit the nail right on the head because I do believe that they were writing the song for the sake of kind of discussing the time period that they were living in. And that was that time back in the day when TV shows like The Day After came around. It was a mini series that was on television, I remember back in the 80s. And it was basically The Day After was a reference to the day after nuclear war.
Right.
And so I believe that's why they're saying, Heaven can wait, we are only watching the skies. I would assume that that's what they're making that reference to, because that was that was kind of the time that we were living in. There was that Cold War
It
atmosphere.
was right. And for me, I get this sense of sitting on pins and needles.
Yeah.
Like, this constant expectation of what if,
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is so heavy to think
Yes.
about that. It brings disharmony,
Yes.
discourse within the body.
Yeah.
And so for me, I know that movement and dance are a beautiful way to move energy.
Yes.
So they started off with, let's dance in style and dance for a while. Dancing helps to
Release. Yeah.
all that tension that's been built up.
Yeah, yeah, because
Yes.
heaven can wait, But and that's the truth. And they speak to the fear of what they feel like people are feeling at
Hoping
that
for the
time.
best.
Yeah. But expecting the worst because that's what, a lot of people have a way of focusing on
The worst.
the worst in the world and
Mm-hmm.
the things that that are going to go bad and how, we kind of have that expectation. And that's one way I've heard even people talk about watching the news because then the news becomes like doom and gloom, and
Yeah.
it really kind of is I think they're kind of they're just reflecting on that, because I don't think that's what the song is about. It's not about the fear that we're talking about, the opposite of love,
Right.
which I would assume that fear is a heavy frequency.
Oh, very heavy. And it says, let us die young or let us live forever.
Yes.
And for me, that is speaking into that aspect of we can focus on the fear and living in fear. And what happens is we die young.
Yes.
I mean, they were young at this point. I believe these Alphaville were, young people when they wrote this song.
Yeah.
And so in doing that, in staying in that heavy energy, you basically just die to life,
Yes.
to living.
Yes. Yes.
And let us live forever.
Yeah.
And for me, it's okay, well, I'm either going to die young because I can't get out of this fear and heaviness, or, the bomb's going to drop and
Yeah.
I'm going to become forever spirit again.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of
No,
fascinating
I think
how
that
they say that.
I agree. 'Cause-
And that because they say we don't have the power, meaning we're not the ones with our hands on the button.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
at the time I remembered the button,
Yep.
who's
Yep.
going to push the button first kind of thing.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's really coming in,
No, I agree, yeah.
Because I lived through this,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I remember that fear of what if,
Yeah.
is someone going to push the button today
Yeah,
kind
absolutely.
of thing. Yeah. And never say never.
And that was and has been a popular catchphrase. If you think about it, a lot of people they say that, well, I would never do that. I'll never do that again. And then somebody says, never say never, because we do have a funny way of repeating history. History repeats itself in a really strange way. But that's because the past and the present and the future are all happening at the exact same time. So with that in mind, that's why we kind of can say that, we can say that never say never is really true. That is a very truthful statement, but it is also something that was very popular, because we were all thinking that in our own minds, I think, when we were growing up in the 80s,
Right.
thinking about what could happen. That's when this band was writing some of this music, and that's when I believe that they were having these fears, because I remember that was a fear that people had, was this looming catastrophe of
Right.
nuclear war. And so, they're saying we don't have the power, but we never say never.
And I love that because I believe that as humanity, we have, for me, life is not, like you said, we repeat history.
Yes.
However, it is a spiral.
Yeah.
For me, I understand the ascension process where, yes, things come around again, but you have grown. You have achieved this lightness within your body to where when you come to that fear again, it's not quite as heavy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it keeps spiraling up to where the fear just disappears and you never have to experience that fear again because you're in the state of love,
Wow.
in knowing that
Yeah.
all is love and that it just is. And we don't have the power. That's where I think the change has come since then.
Yes.
Here we are 2025, and I think this song was like 84.
Yeah.
So that's like 41 years. Is that correct?
That's amazing.
I did that in my head real quick. So, I mean, some of us, oh my gosh, when I think about that, my kids are younger than that,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
they weren't even born when this song was written.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's fascinating to even think about the fact that we don't have the power.
Yeah.
And I believe what's happening on Earth now, 41 years later, is that we are all realizing we do have the power.
We do have the power.
The
Yeah.
power is the sovereignty within each and every one of us, that divinity that lives within. And in focusing on that, in other words, I know I was one of those who gave our power away.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, we gave our power to the government. We gave our power to, the doctors and the pharmaceuticals. We gave our power to the schools, and what they were teaching us. And
Yeah.
now we're realizing, wait a minute, I have the capability of healing my own body.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. I have the capability of being able to choose how I wish to live life
Yeah.
in a joyous, happy way, not focused on the news and the
Yes.
doom and the gloom,
Yeah. And the fear.
So I believe we have taken our power back.
I do too. And
I do too.
I do think that that's the duality in the song, is that they say, sitting in a sandpit, life is a short trip. And I think that that's what that is kind of, speaking to.
I love
as they
it
move
because
on.
when you talk about sitting in a sand pit, what comes to mind? For me, it's just a bunch of kids.
I was
Because
just thinking
in
that.
this era, we really had sand pits. We
Yes,
don't
we
have them
did.
anymore. Sandboxes is what we called them.
Yes.
And they kind of got rid of those
They
because
did.
they realized, they weren't the healthiest.
Or
things
the
to
most,
play in.
they only lasted for a few years, and then we grew out of them, and then usually that became the beach.
Right, right. But I had a sandbox growing up.
I did too.
So I envision the young kids sitting in a sand pit.
Yeah.
Life is a short trip.
It
In
is.
other words, this physical vessel that we have chosen
Mm-hmm.
to, move through this period of life in is short.
It is short, yeah.
Compared to who we really are.
Yeah,
Because we
yeah.
are eternal beings.
Eternally inside, yeah.
I thought that was fascinating.
No, that is fascinating. Because, then they say the music's for the sad men. And I think that that is a way of saying that, some of this music is for the people who are kind of stuck in that kind of place where they're trapped in that kind of belief and that fear.
Yeah, exactly. And sad men, it's like the songs also were sad.
Yeah.
They evoked that emotion.
They did.
Of, doom and gloom.
Yep.
And there wasn't any happiness to focus upon, to look at, to see, because there was the arms race.
Yep.
And I think that is what, can you imagine when this race is won?
Yes.
That's what they're talking about. That's what this time period was.
Yeah.
Turn our golden faces into the sun.
Because a nuclear bomb is like the sun.
Right.
The explosion is
Mm-hmm.
they call it the power of the sun.
Right.
Praising our leaders, we are getting in tune. The music's played by the madmen. And I think that's a reflection on them saying, the music is basically like the Pied Piper. And everybody's listening to this song that the Pied Piper or the madmen are playing, and we're all kind of following along with it, kind of like without taking a moment to stop and say, hey, wait a minute, that doesn't resonate with me.
Yes, I love that. Yes, definitely the Pied Piper. It's like praising our leaders. We're getting in tune.
Yeah.
In other words, we're becoming the sheep,
Yep.
and we're following, and the music that we're following, because there's music inside all of us.
Yes.
We are the music.
Yes.
And at this time, we were in tune, with the madmen that were just focused upon destruction, which is quite fascinating.
It is.
Yeah. So forever young. I want to be forever young.
Yeah.
And that is what is so beautiful, because then all of a sudden it's like they unplug from the madness.
Yeah.
And just go back to that understanding of the innocence
Yes.
and the purity of being young,
Yeah.
of not having worries, not having anxieties and, fear,
Yeah.
because it's just living in
The
that
moment.
freedom
Yeah.
of that moment of
Yeah.
being young,
Yeah.
forever young. I
Yeah.
want to be forever young.
Do you really want to live forever? And I love that statement. Forever and ever, forever young, instead of living forever and ever, forever young. And I like
Right.
that distinction because, you can watch a TV show that has characters that are vampires, and they will lament their sadness is evident that they live forever and how hard it is to live forever, to watch all of the loved ones and the things happen and pass and happen and pass. And to think about that, I love the fact that they say, do you really want to live forever, forever and ever, forever young? By making that distinction, instead of thinking of
Yeah.
living forever
Very
in youth
young.
and young.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
In that aspect of freedom,
yes,
of purity, of
yes,
innocence. Yeah.
because that can be a lifetime, but it can also be the blink of an eye.
True.
You
Very,
know,
very true. And to let go of that fear of, not being in the physical body anymore in that, because like you said, in the blink of an eye at this time,
yep,
that's what the fear was. In the
yeah,
blink of an eye, everything could have been gone.
yeah,
You would have died and, the whole world been destroyed or whatever, And
yes,
it's like, wow,
yeah.
okay. Some are like water, some are like the heat, some are a melody, and some are the beat. Who are some?
I think they're talking about people existing in this
I do
universe.
too. Yeah.
Just the difference between, some are like water, some people are like water, some are like the heat. Some are a melody, and some are the beat. And I think they're really talking about the different individuals, all of us being such different individuals.
Right, right. And some are like water. In other words, they just flow.
Yeah.
They just go with the flow.
Yeah.
They don't push against.
Yes.
And, whereas some are like the heat. Sometimes, that to me, sometimes heat can be,
Oppressive.
yes, and uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some are a melody. A melody is, to me, different than a beat.
Yes, because it's familiar.
Okay.
I
Okay.
remember somebody once said to me they didn't like jazz music. They just wanted somebody who's playing the jazz music to pick a melody and just keep playing it
Mm.
because of that familiarity. And you could follow it and it can make you feel like it's something you can understand,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
um,
Okay.
in one way.
Yeah. I know that a beat to me is
The
once
constant.
again oppressive. It's like forced upon you. Whereas a melody, I believe, like you said, you can flow with it.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And sooner or later, they all will be gone. Why don't they stay young?
Mm. In other words, life is short.
Yes,
This physicality will be dropped
it will be.
sooner or later.
Yeah, yeah.
And if we can learn to stay young rather than being a beat, being the heat,
Yeah.
and really pushing our quote agendas,
Yes.
it's life would be
It
different.
would be much more
If
free,
you
that's for sure.
yes, if you could stay young, for
Yeah.
sure.
It's so hard to get old without a cause. I don't want to perish like a fading horse. Youths like diamonds in the sun, and diamonds are forever. And I had never thought about diamonds being for forever until right now, because then I read that and you were reading this and I heard that and I thought, holy cow, that's so true. The diamond, I mean, how do you, how would a diamond disintegrate?
Hmm.
They are made to last so long because they are so hard, you know, but it's so hard to get old without a cause. I don't want to perish like a fading horse. You know, that sounds to me like they're talking to or speaking to the expectations we have as we grow old, in that sense of how we kind of explain our own identity,
Right, right. Yeah.
you know?
And getting old without a cause, for me, that is getting to that stage in life and realizing that, wait a minute, I've I don't have joy in my life.
Yeah,
I don't have a reason, because when you do get old, when a horse gets old, they're put out to pasture.
yeah,
You cannot ride them anymore.
yeah,
Their bodies don't allow that.
yeah,
It just is.
yeah,
And for this physicality, this physical body, same thing. We aren't able to run and play and, actually, when we get old, we can laugh and
yes,
and still have a lot of fun.
yeah,
Trust me.
yeah,
and to me, that's what that getting old without a cause
yeah,
is realizing in that stage of life that you didn't find joy.
yeah.
There was nothing in your life that gave you joy.
And there's that looking back and thinking that life is wasted on the young, which became not a popular phrase, but a lot of people will say that, youth is wasted on the young because of the fact that we live so quickly through our youthful portion of our life that then when we get to our aged or older period, we think of it as now we have no cause. We've lived that faster life as a young person, and now what are we doing? Who are we? What is this?
Right. In other words, I don't have a purpose.
Yes.
We think we've lost our purpose
Yeah.
in life. And when the realization comes in that the purpose of this life is to be in joy and
Yes.
enjoy life
Yeah.
and to be love, then everything is purposeful.
It is, and it is forever young.
Yes.
And
yes,
that's why
yes.
they say youth's like diamonds in the sun, and diamonds are forever. And that's what I think that's talking about.
The most beautiful thing about diamonds in the sun is what happens to a diamond in the sun.
It just
It
shines like, oh my gosh, it
sparkles.
sparkles.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it shines so
It does.
brilliantly.
With so many
Yes.
rainbow colors and
Yes, yes.
so many adventures couldn't happen today. So many songs we forgot to play. So many dreams swinging out of the blue. We'll let them come true. I love that finishing line there because the first three lines, so many adventures couldn't happen today, so many songs we forgot to play, so many dreams swinging out of the blue. It's like somebody looking back and thinking, oh, all the things I could have done, all the things I could have done and said and played and blah, blah, blah.
Instead, I was sitting at home in fear that the bomb was going to drop.
Yes. and then they say, we'll let them come true. And that's what I think
In other
is,
words, I'm going to let go of that fear.
yes, and that's
Yes.
the duality that I think that we're finding with this song. I love this song. It's just that's the duality I think they're talking about because forever young.
Yeah.
I want to be forever young. Do you really want to live forever? Forever and ever. Forever young. I love that because I think that that is what it is speaking to. It's really speaking to the idea that we can get so trapped in thinking about what could potentially scary thing,
Right.
could potentially happen. And we forget about living in the moment and enjoying that joy that you were talking about.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I mean, so many adventures couldn't happen. So many songs we forgot to play. To me, that's just lamenting.
Yep.
Sitting and just being in that space of, lamenting.
Yeah,
And-
just looking back,
right.
Looking behind us.
Right. And forget about that.
Yeah,
Just let them come true.
yeah,
Go to that young, childlike wonder, dream again, and just be and allow the joy to unfold in front of
as
you
it comes, yeah.
without the worry and fear, that something's going to happen.
Yeah. I think about
Right.
it. I think about that with how sometimes we can get caught in that trap while we're driving. If you think about when you're driving a car, we're looking out of our windshield in front of us, and we're looking forward at the things that are coming to us.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times people get trapped in looking behind them in the rearview mirror. And
Oh,
that's
that's true.
behind us.
Yeah, what a beautiful way to think about
And
that.
and we really
Yeah.
don't need to look back there. We need to look in front of us. Now, of course, some people are probably thinking, well, Bruce, I've got to look in my mirrors. And I agree with you. We have to look in our mirrors to make sure that we're not just driving totally with oblivious, with that oblivious empty head, if you will. But, we still have to look forward.
I was going to say, yes, being taught in driver's ed,
Yep.
you glance
Yes.
in your mirrors.
Yeah.
To me, there's a big difference in glancing and looking.
And looking. I agree.
Because if you are looking in your rearview mirror and someone in front of you stops, you're going to crash into them.
Yes. And you're not going to see what's coming.
Right, right. And the beauty that is there in front of you when you're living in that state of being young.
Yes.
And just just imagine or think about a child playing.
Yeah.
And their imagination, everything is so real to them.
Yeah.
And there are no worries.
No, there's no worries.
It's Hakuna Matata.
Yeah. Oh, I love
Life
that.
with
Yeah.
no worries.
Yeah.
It's just being free and being young, forever young.
I love that. That was beautiful, Don.
Yeah. That's where I am.
Yeah.
I'm living life joyfully, forever young.
Forever young.
Forever young.
So I would have to say I encourage everybody else, live your life joyfully and forever young.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, each and every one of you, for being here. Remember, you can send us a request.
You can.
You can comment on our YouTube channel, Lyrical Wisdom Show.
Yes.
Or you can send us an email
You can.
at lyricalwisdomshow.
At gmail.com.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for joining us here today on Lyrical Wisdom.